For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines. If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
All right, we are live. It is the AEW Dynamite recap show here on Wednesday, here on the Big O Radio Show YouTube channel. I am Sean Stanley, and this is my Miami Gardens studio. Watching a little Golden State Dallas at the same time here. AEW Dynamite tonight. Greg Goodard checking in. Boss B, what's going on, you guys? Wasn't impressed with Dynamite tonight, man. Was not impressed. There were some good matches. Kyle O'Reilly, Ray Phoenix was great. Hangman Adam Page was great. There were some hits there, but there were some misses as well. That thing with Dustin and them at the end there, I'm not sure what that was or what it was supposed to be, what it was to set up, but just, to me, utter crap. I don't know what they're trying to do with Rosa and Deeb there. They've got a good story line just from past experiences with each other, and instead they're trying to go this route. Not sure why, and I don't understand that end of it. Overall, again, like I said, I just didn't think it was impressive. I mean, you had two jokers. They brought back Maki Ito, who was Britt Baker's partner back in the beginning of AEW, and then you got in Johnny Nitro, who was John Morrison, or he's Johnny Elite here. He was Johnny Nitro, and then I don't know. To me, when you do a Joker or you want somebody to be in the show, I'm not saying it's got to be a home run every time, but when you promote this for 2 or 3 weeks, to me, yeah, Johnny, that doesn't excite me. Johnny Elite doesn't excite me. I know they got the thing with Impact, and that's probably what they did, is kind of open the door for somebody from Impact and bring them in and this and that. It just, to me, when you're doing the Jokers, look, if you just want to bring somebody in for one match and it's a one-off, that's fine, but make it something impressive. I would have been better off seeing Miro return and lose to Samoa Joe than to see, the Johnny Elite. There was a botch in that match. He missed his corkscrew. He came down, but again, being the veteran he is, he was able to kind of try to clean it up there. Again, that's why you don't do the high-flying maneuvers, the top rope maneuvers. There's a lot of room for error. And you see that week in and week out on AEW Dynamite. The writing to me is just the show format to me is starting to kind of get away. I felt the Jeff Hardy Adam Cole match was rushed. Don't know if it was supposed to be set up that way, but to me, it felt like they rushed it because, again, probably short on time. You had that crap that was right before it. No reason. I'm not sure why that was even there. I just think they're trying to put too much into these shows. You saw the continuation of Wardlow MJF. That's it's a good build. The problem for me now is that I've seen this before. And I saw it 2 years ago. It wasn't like I saw it in, and I talked about it last show. It's not something that we haven't seen, I did like the way where they had Wardlow no sell. And then MJF gets upset and just starts hitting him, real quick. And then Sean Spears got to slow him down because he was already up to seven shots and things like. I like a lot of those little things that they were doing to make it a little bit different because, with Cody, it was kind of like the old, again, it goes back to ECW days, right? Well, who was it? It was Tommy Dreamer, right? He got the cane from Sandman. And he was like, give me another. And, he kept asking for more and this and that. And so, again, this isn't nothing new. But to me, again, it was done a year and a half ago with Cody, with MJF. And now here we are doing the same thing to build up to meet Double or Nothing. Or, sorry, what is it? It's Double or Nothing, right? Yeah, Double or Nothing. And it'd be Wardlow MJF. There's not a lot that I'm very excited about right now with AEW. And again, I get it. I'm not, I'm not that diehard AEW fan. Okay. They keep everything for their little niche of fans. Okay. And not saying little, I should say for their fans. They keep everything for their fans. And when they bring people in, they cater to those fans. That's not a bad thing. You understand your audience and you're catering to that audience. But at some point you have to grow your audience. And right now, currently, that audience is not growing. If you look at the numbers week in and week out, and I get it, they can throw up the YouTube numbers, the YouTube views are going up and things like that. But when you're looking for TV rights deals, and I get it, they're signed to Turner or whatever they are now, to TNT and TBS. But ultimately, when that runs out, you're going to be able to shop around and look for a better deal. And that's going to be on your numbers right now. And to me, every week, those numbers are going down. Not huge drops, but they're going down. And I'm not saying it's to sound the alarms and everything else, but at some point, somebody needs to sit there. And because honestly, look, man, the Blackpool Combat Club, very, very good concept. Jericho Appreciation Society, very good concept. But when you start putting all these, now you've got two factions joining together with Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz, with the Blackpool Combat Club. And now all of a sudden Jericho comes out and he does the thing and he says a few things about, a year ago he said this about you and you said this about that. And now nothing happens during the whole thing. But then Eddie Kingston wants to leave to go, chase him down. Bryan Danielson steps in. And now the chaos ensues. Now they can't, it triggers that they can't be, they can't coexist. Little things like, to me, it's wrestling. I understand that, but I'm not a stupid fan. I'm not going to sit there and just watch to watch because you're AEW. Again, sometimes, look, AEW can do no wrong. Just like in some of WWE fans, WWE can do no wrong. I'm not that guy. I love wrestling. I love watching pro wrestling. I love everything about it. But sometimes things just don't make much sense. It doesn't make a lot of sense, man. Justin Cordero, Johnny Elite was great. If you say so, man. If you say so. I was not, again, I look at it and say, it's kind of like when they did the lights out and they brought it on and it was the guy, everybody's like, who the hell's that? At the end of the show. That's how I kind of felt about the Jokers tonight. It was like, why not bring Miro back at that point? If look, Johnny Elite does nothing. He does nothing to raise the bar or nothing else. It's just another name that you brought in that was made from WWE. It's the way I look at it. When you could have brought back Kip Sabian, Miro, I mean, again, made by WWE, but he's already on the AEW roster. If you're gonna do that kind of, to me, it needs to be something better to me. If you're gonna promote it the way they promoted it, Wild Card Wednesday, this and that, I need something more than Johnny Elite. That's the way I look at it. Too many wrestlers, so little time. Show needs to be 3 hours. Yeah, but they can't get 3 hours. Remember, they had to move off of TNT because of the basketball and hockey now also is going to be moved to TBS. Next year, it's going to be very interesting to see how that goes. Justin, he's very talented. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that he's not talented. I'm not trying to put down the performer. I'm not. I'm putting down the spot that was he was put in. That nothing against Johnny Nitro can do things I could wish, and I still wouldn't be able to do them. That man is more talented in his peaky than I am total. Just the way he, trains and all his, was it parkour and all that stuff, man? Dude, the talent is through the roof. And I'm not saying that I didn't like it because he's not talented. I just thought, again, give me some bang for the buck. Johnny Elite, to me, doesn't change it either way. Really doesn't. If you're going to do that, I would rather you paid a bunch of money for a one-off and brought in Johnny Gargano. If he's going to lose the, Samoa Joe and probably not be back on the show again anyways, why not bring Johnny Gargano in? Let's see. You need to entertain to remain relevant. Yeah, I mean, it's entertaining and it's also getting people to invest. I just think they're throwing so much crap on there right now that it's kind of getting rushed through that you can't get invested in anything. The only thing right now that I can honestly say I could get invested into right now would be Hangman Page and CM Punk, and probably MJF and Wardlow. Those are the only two things that they've given the time on TV to allow you to register and invest some type of feeling in. Everything else is rushed because they got to get everything in 2 hours. To me, again, sitting here watching it and watching what's happening, the AEW women's tag team or women's title match with Thunder Rosa, that was so rushed and so botched. I can give two craps about that match anymore. When you get your chance to be on TV, you need to make that time mean something. If you're on for 2 minutes, if you're on for 10 minutes, if you're on for 15 seconds. Then Matt Sydal and Dante Martin, two great, extremely talented guys, look like deer in the headlights when they went to them after the Blackpool Combat Club did their thing, and they're sitting in the back going, "You guys want to fight? Friday, Rampage, we fight." I mean, come on, man. There's little things to just, it's got to be more to it, man. When they go back, like, oh, whatever, they're standing by back and they're like, "Combat Club, you want to fight? You got it Friday. Show me something, man." Everything looks like reading through a card, man. You have time. You can pre-produce those damn vignettes. You can do some pre-production. So those are done. So you can see, okay, this is crappy. Okay, we're going to have to do it live because the pre-production isn't that good. But that was terrible. Let's see. Justin Cordero. Appreciate everybody once again tuning in today. Definitely understand AEW hits a lot of singles and doubles, but haven't hit a home run in a while. Yeah, and they've grounded into some double plays recently too. But I get what you're saying, Justin, and you're right. Again, tonight's card, man, there was some good ass matches on there. Samoa Joe and Johnny Elite, I thought was a good match. There were some miscues. Ray Phoenix and Kyle O'Reilly was great. Hangman Adam Page, that was good. The matches are good. The program is crappy because of the way it's kind of, maybe it's underperforming to me. Maybe that's what happened tonight. It underperformed expectations. Terry says AEW don't need to sign any more wrestlers. I agree. But again, there is so much talent out there right now. I mean, there is so much talent that is very tempting. But AEW, I think they need, again, I talked about this on Monday. If you want to go back and look at the podcast, I really think they need to kind of sit down and just kind of take inventory of what they have. And then put a board up and say, okay, who's our top guys? Who are we going to make our top guys? Who's it going to be? Undisputed Elite? Okay, they're our top faction. And I'm just throwing guys in there. Top faction is there. Hangman Adam Page is our champion right now. If it's CM Punk, whatever you want to do, that's our singles guy. So now you got a faction and you got a singles guy. And then you can throw a tag team in there. And then you can throw somebody from the women's division or two in there. You can have one or two guys. But there's got to be some kind of resemblance of what you're pushing now. It feels to me like they've lost sight of what the big picture was going to be. You know, because again, now it's kind of getting into, it's almost WWE-ish. And by that, I mean this. When you're heading to WrestleMania, right? What matches were pushed? Roman and Brock, Charlotte and Ronda. The rest of the card was just kind of like, hey, if it gets over, it gets over. But our two main spotlights are on there. You're looking at Double or Nothing right now. What's being pushed? Hangman and Punk, Wardlow and MJF. WWE-ish. It really is starting. They're spotlighting two matches and the rest, let's hope it works out and turns into something. Again, they've got 11 days. They've got next show, and then their pay-per-view is that Sunday. So they basically have one show to kind of put together an undercard. Because right now, when I'm looking at it, I'm looking at a triple threat tag team title match with Jurassic Express, Swerve, and Keith Lee, and Ricky Starks, and Powerhouse Hobbs. You're looking at the AEW Women's Championship, Thunder Rosa against Serena Deeb, MJF against Wardlow, and Punk against Page. What other matches? Maybe they're angling toward Young Bucks versus the Hardys. I don't know. As it went off, Sting's getting his ankle broken, but at 63 years old, what are you gonna do now? I mean, is it gonna heal that quickly to where now you do an 8-man tag where it's O'Reilly and Fish against O'Reilly and Fish and the Young Bucks against Sting, Darby Allin, and the Hardys? Do you do an 8-man? Oh, I forgot. You also have Jericho Appreciation Society. It's a 5-on-5 match as well. Let's see. Greater Good. Gordon Soley never learned the wrestlers' real names. He didn't want to screw up on camera. He understood maintaining the persona of the characters. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, man. That's the thing. It's back then. I mean, that's a lot of times I didn't know a lot of the guys' names that if I didn't hang out with you, I wouldn't probably know half of the guys' real names if it was a real name or a work. I mean, again, but it's different though when you're working like in WWE, AEW, you guys hang out, you become more of a family than what it is on the independents. But it's one of those things. Terry says, Sean, where do you think they're going with the Hardys and Young Bucks feud? Honestly, man, I don't know. I don't know, man. We saw Young Bucks and we saw they already had a great match. What was it? Right before they went back to WWE. What was that, like right before, 4 years ago, 5 years ago? They had a great match. Again, a lot of tear on Jeff and Matt. And again, I think they can still go. I'm kind of getting tired of seeing Jeff jump off a ladder every week. This week he did not do it, thank goodness. But I think they could have a pretty decent feud. But I think what they're going to end up doing is using the Hardys to elevate the Young Bucks possibly, and then into the title. It's because the Young Bucks. I mean, somebody put it out today, and I went back to look a little bit. They've only wrestled one time as a tag team on AEW this year. At some point, they've got to put them back in the title picture. I get it. They're the EVPs. You don't want to make the about them, but look, man, I love Jurassic Express. I love Jungle Boy. I love Luchasaurus. They're not elevating the tag team division. They're not. You need the belts on the Young Bucks. You need the belts on FTR. You need the belts on one of those teams that, that oozes the charisma, the machismo to be the alphas. Because nothing to me about Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus says we're the best damn team in AEW. Greater Good says feuds, if sold well, draws attention. It's about getting invested. That's what it's about, getting invested. You get invested by the antagonist. Do you side with him, or do you side with the baby face that you want to see the antagonist get his ass kicked? That's when, again, you invest feelings into that feud. And nothing that AEW is doing right now gives you the time to put those feelings into anything that's happening. Nothing. They're even rushing this Owen Hart Memorial, tournament, man. They should have started it a while ago. So you could have had, a match a week or something. You had 3 matches tonight for the Owen Hart, tournament. There's too much, man. There's too damn much. Let's see. Steve says, I don't watch AEW, but just from listening to it, sounds like a sinking ship to me. They have their fans, Steve, and I don't think, I'm not going to say it's a sinking ship yet. I'm not going to say it's a sinking ship yet. I do see them making some of the same mistakes that WCW made. But also remember, AEW is only 3 years old. AEW is only 3 years old. And I heard somebody say today, they were asking one of the guys, I believe it was Meltzer on Twitter. They're like, oh, where was WWF in year 3? And Meltzer was like, in year 3, they didn't even have damn TVs. So it was a totally different time. But if you want to start from Hulk Hogan's time, when he came in, and started, and him and Vince kind of started what wrestling is today. I mean, if you go back to that time, and again, I don't know how old some of you guys are to remember some of those times, but I mean, is AEW on that par right now? And when I look at it, I look at their roster, I think they got a damn good roster. But I just feel like they're rushing too much shit on TV to where you don't understand what they're trying to what they're trying to do. It's not registering. It's not allowing the fans, again, their hardcore base fans are getting it. Their hardcore base fans are getting it. But if somebody tunes in and is a casual wrestling fan and is like, hey, on this Wednesday night, I got nothing else to do. Let me see what's going on in AEW. You're not going to be able to invest in a lot of the matches that are going on. The CM Punk, you probably will be, because they give that a little bit more time. They allow it to kind of, fester. They do the face-to-face. They walk around each other. Allow you to get that emotion. MJF MJF comes out, cuts his promo. He's a pain in the ass. He's the little weasel guy. Wardlow comes out, big guy, handcuffs. He's getting whooped. Getting the 10 lashes, you're able to register and have some emotion. Everything else just feels like it's goddamn rushed. Get in there, do your 5 minutes, get out. And it's move after move after move after move after move. And they're not even telling, a story in the match. It's just, let me get my shit in. And then let's get to the finish. Yes, Jericho Appreciation Society and that, and the Blackpool Combat Club, they got to tell a little bit of a story. They got to kind of try to build up their feud and what's going on. But I mean, it was just a lot of cheap ass shots by Jericho about, Regal's drug problems and Moxley going to rehab and Bryan Danielson's going to end up like them because he's hanging out with them and he's going to end up in rehab. Like, is that what this match is turned into? Nothing on that promo. Great jabs. I mean, all in all, it was a pretty damn good promo, entertaining. But nothing said, hey, I want to watch those 5 guys kick those 5 guys' ass, at least to me. And I may be wrong, and there may be some of you on the chat board or listening on the podcast. Let me know. But to me, if you're a casual fan, and I'm not saying you're an AEW guy or a WWE guy, and you're going to sit there and trash it because it's AEW, and you're going to sit there and love it because it's AEW, but if you're going to sit there and be honest about what's going on, then I would love to hear from you. Oh, let's see. Steve says, I wonder if they're losing money, though, like WCW was at the end. I don't think they're losing that much because I don't know how many of you know the number, and I didn't even know the number until recently. They were $62 million in the hole in the last year of WCW. Remember, when Eric Bischoff was there 2 years prior or a year and a half prior, they were making money. They went from making money to $62 million in the hole. It's a damn shame. And the one thing about Tony Khan is he's a pretty good businessman. I don't think they're losing money. And I know at the Double or Nothing pay-per-view, that I believe has been sold out. I think they have 17,500. They just opened up more seats to make it 17,500, but they opened it up as the other seats were sold. So that's almost going to be a sellout. And the one thing that they are doing is they're going to the areas to where their product is hot. That's why they haven't been back down here in Miami recently. They haven't been back down here. And we'll see if they get back down this way, but we'll have to see. Terry said they should have did the Owen Hart tournament for the men only. Yeah, that or did the men in the spring and the women in the fall. So now you've got, you almost like a King of the Ring, but you have two separate. You have a King of the Ring and a Queen of the Ring. If you want to do it that way, you do one during the spring and then one during the fall. But doing them both at the same time, again, I think it was just kind of rushed and they wanted to get the Hart name out there, and I don't think they're seeing the. I think it's a very cool thing that they're doing, honoring, Owen Hart and Owen Hart Foundation and everything. I think that's great. But I don't know that it's been necessarily the same. They've gotten the return on investment, I guess, that they thought they were going to get. Or maybe they didn't think they were going to get any return on investment. I don't know. Let's see, Frankie. Wow, $62 million. What were they spending so much on? The talent. They signed everybody to guaranteed deals. And everybody had creative control. So if you go to tell Hulk Hogan he's losing, Hulk Hogan says, no, I don't want to do that. Well, let's change it up then. Let's figure it out. That's why Jericho left. That's why Eddie Guerrero left. That's why, Dean Malenko left. Benoit, all those guys, they started leaving because it was like, we're never going to get pushed. You got all these guys with creative control sitting on the top of the card. They're never going to give us a chance. Time to move on. Let's see. Greg Good said George Amos Steele sold, be the crazy guy, develop the character, create a story, then emulate in the ring. It's not just, no, it's not. It's not. But it is a different time of wrestling to where, again, you got so many damn talented guys that can just fly now. But sometimes I wish they would make it make sense. Like you can fly, you can do, the outside stuff. It just, sometimes it's like, it makes me cringe a little bit because it's like, everybody knows what wrestling is, right? It's scripted. It is what it is. But at the same time, you don't need to stand there and watch a guy try to get up to the top rope and then jump and watch him go, okay, now I got to catch this guy. It's things got to make sense, man. Like back in the day, I mean, Cactus Jack, think about everything he did. He used to drop an elbow from the apron onto the concrete. There was no mats then. But it was his gimmick. His gimmick was, I will use my body to do whatever the hell I can do to hurt you. And that's what he did. That was the character. That was everything else. And that's what he did. Make it make sense. If you're finished, again, one of the things tonight, you have all these guys doing these crazy ass moves, 1, 2, and they kick out. Dude, this guy just did a 450 splash, landed on you, and kick out at 1. Kick out at 2. I mean, the move's got to start meaning something. This guy's 220 pounds coming down on you. I mean, what the hell? That's kind of what's lost. Now, remember, George Animal Steel finisher used to be he'd put an armbar on you and lift you off the ground, and then you would submit. That was a finisher. Harley Race's finisher used to be a damn suplex. Suplexes don't even get a damn 1 count anymore. I get it. Wrestling changes. I understand that. But some of the stuff's just got to make sense, man. You can't hit the guy 6,000 flips and then he kicks out at 1. All right, I'm off that little soapbox. Kane's 1989 WWE is not what it used to be. No, but they don't want to be what they used to be. They're happy making that money. Making that money on the kids. Frankie Fresco, any word on Naomi and Sasha Banks? Man, that thing's there was some new stuff. Let me see if I got it right here. Hopefully I got it here handy. Hold on 1 minute. I'm sorry. My daughter's getting home from her 8th grade trip, so just touching base with her. So I apologize for that real quick. There has been some reports coming in, and man, dude, kudos to Sean Ross Sapp and the crew over at Fightful.com. Hold on 1 minute. I'm just getting it up right here. By the way, congratulations to OVW. They're getting I don't know if you know OVW, but that's Al Snow, I believe, runs that, but they're going to get a reality show on one of the big 3 streaming platforms. It's either going to be Netflix, Hulu, or Amazon Prime. They're going to get a reality show. It's going to follow them through the whole summer. They're touring and follow them at home, but they did ink a deal to where they're going to get that there. So that's going to be very, very interesting. So going back to what happened, for people that don't know, basically there was a scheduled 6-pack challenge. What happened was originally it was scheduled to be 1-on-1 Asuka against Becky Lynch. During the day, it changed to a 6-pack challenge, and they threw the tag team champions, Naomi and Sasha, and Doudrop and Nikki ASH in the match as well. Sasha and Naomi wanted the tag team titles to get some spotlight, and their opponents for the pay-per-view are supposed to be Nikki ASH and Doudrop. So they were like, why don't we just, start that going on this Raw and just let Asuka and Becky do the match. It was set up to where, again, I think it was reported on Monday night that Naomi was supposed to pin Sasha. That has been changed. And it was actually, she was going to pin Nikki ASH because they didn't want Naomi and Sasha to touch each other, and they didn't want Doudrop and Nikki ASH to touch each other. There's been some things to where they said that the two that they were worried about setting up was Becky and Asuka were the two. It wasn't Nikki ASH and Doudrop. It was Becky and Asuka were the two that they didn't want to get in the fight with. There was never a producer on the internal rundown sheet in the back. They have a list of the matches. Never a producer assigned to this match. It was in red the whole time. They said they have not been able to confirm reports that Sasha was set to face Ronda, because that was another thing that came out in this, was that ultimately Naomi was going to win that match and go to face Bianca Belair. And of course, Bianca was going to beat her. And then on the SmackDown side, it was going to be Sasha Banks going against Ronda Rousey. And of course, Ronda Rousey was going to beat Sasha Banks, which again totally takes away and devalues your tag team champions. I don't understand why the hell they do this all the time. If you don't want to have the women's tag team titles, then get rid of the damn things. Again, looking at some of the reports, look, man, it's easy to sit here and say, you know, you're under contract, you do what you're said. But, you know, I mean, I kudos to them. If again, the story is still going around, there's just so much going on right now. If that is the case and they really wanted to, you know, stand up and kind of be like, we want the tag team titles to mean something, then I think, you know, kudos to them for standing their ground, you know, and not kind of going down to devalue their tag team titles. Because again, why make these titles? You know, remember Sasha left because she needed some time off after her and Bayley lost the titles at WrestleMania a while ago to the Iconics. They were told when they were put together, they would have the titles for at least 6 months. At least that's the reports. Within 2 months, the titles were off them. There's a disconnect sometimes, you know, again, with, you know, maybe one producer tells the talent something, maybe another producer is telling him something else. Maybe Vince has sat down with the talent and told them something. Maybe Johnny Ace has sat down, or John Laurinaitis, however you want to call him, has sat down with the talent. So the communication there, you know, again, something might be, or sometimes maybe the talent just thought they heard something that they didn't hear. There's so many moving parts to all this. But ultimately, one thing that WWE needs to figure out is you got to value your titles, man. You can't just, the U.S. title is just a arm piece for Theory now. That title means shit. If you would have done this, your women's title are hanging by a string. Luckily, they're on the waist of Naomi and Sasha Banks. Take them off there, those titles mean nothing. The Intercontinental title, who has the Intercontinental title right now? Who is the IC champion? Anybody know who the hell the IC champion is right now? You know, so again, I have no idea where it's going to go or where it's going to go, but we shall see. Kane's at 1999. Hello, Sean and everyone. Hello. How much money was ECW making or losing? I think they were breaking even, man. They needed that deal with TV, and it didn't go through. And then that's when Paul Heyman went to WWE. And the worst part about it was he didn't tell anybody that he was going to WWE. But also, apparently, if you watch any of the documentaries and stuff, Vince was giving a little bit of money to help ECW stay afloat. So, again, Vince wanted to make sure ECW stayed there because ECW was the one that was pulling some people away from WCW. So he looked at it and made a pretty good decision. And I think the only bad thing they did was they never should have brought ECW back. If you want to do the ECW one night stands, that's fine. But ECW under WWE banner, garbage. Greater good. Dusty Rhodes would have already created a Russian and Ukrainian character and have them do battle. Instant interest. Yeah. Or actually, what he probably would have done is he would have brought back, you know, he would have had Nikita and Ivan and all them, you know, the Koloffs coming back and create that whole thing one more time. And like he did with Nikita when they did the superpowers, back in the day. So it's one of those things, man. Steve says, yes, Sean mentioned a few weeks ago how I hate when they slap their thigh with every kick. It brings attention. What they used to try to keep a secret about used to be able to suspend reality. Yeah. And then, it's funny too, man, because there's banned WWE has a thing in the locker room where there's certain words that can't be said on WWE TV, and there's certain moves you can't do. There's banned lists that internally, are there, and one of them was slapping the thigh, or even slapping your shoulder when you're punching. It's one of those things, man. It's again, you try to, when you're in a arena and there's 20,000 people, you try to get a little bit of the sound, you're making connection and things like that. Sometimes it works, sometimes, not so much. Terry says the Britt Baker match is a waste of time in the Dustin Rhodes promo. Well, remember the Britt Baker match was an Owen Hart invitational. So that had to happen so Britt Baker could move on, because the finals of those matches is at the pay-per-view in 2 Sundays. So while a waste of time, they had to try to fit it in, because now you've got to do the semifinals next week. So then the finals will meet on Sunday. They could not wait any longer to do that match. Boss, yes, House. No, that's OVW. Let's see. The women's tag titles, US title, IC title are irrelevant now. 100% agree. Steve said, didn't he? Oh, you know what, Terry? Good job, my man. IC champ is Ricochet. I should know that. I watched the damn commercial a little bit ago, because July 17th, he'll be here. It's Drew McIntyre against Sami Zayn. Ricochet's defending the Intercontinental title, and the Usos are taking on New Day, some of the matches. But again, that shows how irrelevant it is, right? It's like, I totally forgot Ricochet was the damn title. Now, Frankie, the 24/7 title is exactly that. It is a joke title, but at least they make the shit entertaining, man. I mean, I find it dumb sometimes, but man, dude, the fact that R-Truth is still chasing that damn title that he's held, 377 times, I think it is now. Dude, that's at least it's entertainment. You don't even get the damn Intercontinental title defended on TV. Hell, since he had to wrestle both Los Lotharios the same night. What was that? Right before WrestleMania? Has Ricochet been on TV since? The IC champ? Tony Zagales, what's up, Sean? Another ho-hum AEW. Great match of Kyle O'Reilly and Ray Phoenix, though. No, I love that match. I thought Samoa Joe and Johnny Elite was good. There were some botches. And then also I thought, what was the other match? The Hangman Adam Page against the NJPW. I forgot his name, so I forgot that. But I thought, though, again, there were some good moments. It's not the wrestling. It's the fact they're trying to pack so much crap in. And the other thing is, these guys have not learned the taking it home, the TV, the time for TV, man. You see guys every week, they're having to cut stuff. And I think that's what happened with the Jeff Hardy, Adam Cole match. That's why that's why he jumped them on the stage, because they had to start quick. Ain't got time for introductions. If we do the introductions, you're going to have 3 minutes. So he jumped them right away so they could get the stuff in, and they had to rush it because of all the other crap that goes over, man. It's I don't know if you've ever watched WWE, but from now, the next time you watch WWE, watch the referee. Watch the referee. He'll always stand in the corner when he's doing a thing, and all of a sudden he'll go like this. When he goes like that, they're talking in his ear. Usually, then he'll relay to the guys like, okay, let's take it home. There's always somebody there watching the time, or even going off the crowd like, hey, this isn't going the way we wanted to go in this crap. That's happened before too. But the one thing that won't happen is you're not going to waste Vince McMahon's TV time. You're not. You're not going to waste Vince McMahon's TV time. Tony Khan gets his wasted every week. You ain't going to waste Vince McMahon's time. No. Why? Because time is money. And that's what the AEW needs to figure out, sit down and try to figure out where to go. And again, I'm not saying hit the reset button. No panic. I don't think they need panic. They've got the talent. Hell, they keep signing all this talent. The Ring of Honor thing hasn't even kicked off yet. I don't even know what the hell they're going to do with that. Maybe that'll help and send some of those guys over that way. But again, do you give them TV time? Because there for a while, remember, for 3 weeks, the Ring of Honor was your main event on AEW Dynamite and on Rampage. Let's see. Frankie says AEW does not do that. Does not do what? I'm sorry. You must have sent that as I was talking, man. At what point were you saying that, Frankie? Where were you saying that, buddy? Let me know, please. Any other matches for the event? Nothing that I've seen, or nothing's been sent out that I've seen. Again, you're talking about July 17th. That's almost 2 months away, so they probably haven't sent anything out yet. If Roman Reigns spends most of his time in Hollywood, who's going to be the face of WWE? The thing that I understand from Roman Reigns' fact is going to be that he's going to take about 10 weeks off, but he's still going to do TV, is what I understand. Again, this is just piecing together different things, because there's been stories where he's going to Hollywood and he's leaving for this and that. What I've heard, and these are from the sources that I they don't really give a lot of time to it, is that he's going to go for 10 weeks, but he's still going to do the TV. He's still going to do TV. He's just not doing any of the traveling per se for the live events, your house shows, and he's not doing the smaller pay-per-views. He's going to do the stadium pay-per-views, which I believe is your SummerSlam, your Survivor Series, Castle, the one they're doing in the UK, which those ticket sales were not doing that well. I heard the ticket prices were a little up there, a little pricey, but we'll see if they do any of that. Frankie Fresco did get back to me. He said when the ref is given the word in the ear. They do have that, but I think the problem that they have is that, again, I don't know that Tony Khan strikes the fear of God in you. I feel like you come back to the curtain and Tony Khan will be like, guys, you've got to take it home when I tell you to take it home. Please take it home when I tell you to take it home. Okay, Tony, no problem. My fault. Vince McMahon will be like, your ass is off TV for 2 weeks. Sit at home. I'll never forget the story. Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho, WrestleMania. Kevin thought he had a great match. He went back to a thing, and Vince was like, that sucked. That sucked. And Kevin was like, damn. Okay. I thought it was good. Vince is going to tell you, he sits in that gorilla position. And when you walk through that curtain, and you've seen it a lot of times. I mean, you saw the one, Brock Lesnar, when he won the title, he comes back through the thing and he just throws it at him. He's right there waiting. You're going to get the good. You're going to get the bad right then and there. I just think right now, Tony wants to be relatable to the guys. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to relate. Everybody's got their own managerial, ways. But also, I think sometimes, in the wrestling business, you can sometimes take that as weakness. And again, Tony Khan only takes so much of it, and then it's gonna blow up. When that happens, I don't know. If it has happened, it might have happened already. I don't know. But I can tell you now, Vince McMahon, you do that to him, you're not on TV. You've seen how many times have you seen people like all of a sudden you're like, what the hell happened to that guy? Where'd that person go? And 3 or 4 weeks later, you hear that, he made a mistake at TV or whatever, and too much time or whatever, and you're off, man, dude. He can give 2 craps about you. Unless you're Roman Reigns or you're one of those making money. If you're Roman Reigns and you're one of those guys making money, I mean, you make money again. Time is money. If you're making them money, you're going to get the time. Hey, Sean, like the new logo. Definitely need to put that on a shirt. I'd wear it to these independent shows. Definitely. I'll get that. I got that being worked on. I'm going to do hats as well. And then also, I don't have them in here. I got the little cups too, the little drink cups that I'm going to do as well. Let's see. Dad says Sean and Rampage on Friday this week at 7. Yeah. Yep. That's the other thing with their shows. They're being moved around because of all the playoffs, hockey and NBA. K's 99. Who is the better champion, John Cena or Brock Lesnar? Man, they're both very good. Brock is a draw. John Cena is a draw. I think Brock is a bigger draw than John Cena, but John Cena is able to work with every talent. And although Brock has shown that he can work, he's done with Eddie, he's done with Ray. I mean, man, that's a tough question, man. I think if you put them both as a champion and you had 2 cards, same arena, I think more people are going to see, and there's fighting, say if you could do this, they're both fighting the same opponent. I think more people go to see Brock Lesnar than John Cena. I just think Brock Lesnar has that it. That's the one thing that he has. Steve Johnson, I'm out, Sean, early morning for me. Catch up with you on Friday night. Yes, sir, Steve. Thank you, guys. Thank you, sir, for being on there. It seems like Edge wants AJ Styles and Finn Balor to join his faction. Terry, do you know who he wanted was Harland from NXT, but they fired him. Oh, they didn't fire him. They released him. The one who was Joe Gacy's little side guy. I don't know what he was there, but that's the one Edge pitched to get that guy, and they released him. And now there is talk, and again, this is all speculation, that at the next pay-per-view, it's going to be the Judgment Day against Balor, AJ Styles, and Liv Morgan. And that Finn Balor will either join Judgment Day or start the flip to join Judgment Day. Because if you watch on a promo, he kind of, was like, AJ, you should come over here. You know what, this and that. I think they're starting to gear that up to where it's going to be Finn Balor making that move. It'll be interesting to see what they do, because if I'm not mistaken, I believe when Finn Balor went to WWE, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was AJ that ended up taking over the Bullet Club in Japan when he left, and they attacked Finn and left him laying. So if they can work that into this somehow, because they're doing a lot of the Too Sweet and everything else like that, it'll be very interesting. Let's see. Kings 1989 says, Sean, do you ever think John Cena will turn heel instead of being babyface? No, they had the opportunity, and he did the little heel turn in the ring when he put his heel on the thing. It was like, there you go, there's my heel turn. I think that's long gone now, because now he's only going to come in for one-offs, kind of like show up and get the big pop and be out. So I don't think he'll ever turn heel. They'll bring him back in. They'll do the hustle, loyalty, respect. They'll sell some armbands, some headbands, some shirts, some hats, change the colors on them, the different color, neon colors, and make some money merchandise-wise. But no, I don't ever see him going heel, which means tomorrow or Friday, he'll show up on SmackDown as a heel. You never know. Frankie Fresco asks, who's the highest paid wrestler in AEW? I do not know. I know when they started AEW, they want to do the tiers for depending on your years in service. This is before they had everybody. I believe Moxley was one of the higher paid at that point in Jericho, where you're higher paid. And of course your EVPs, because they were getting paid as executives and as performers. So they were some of your higher paid. I got to believe now it's going to be either CM Punk or Bryan Danielson. I don't have numbers in front of me, but again, that's one of the things where I've talked about this before, Frankie, on here is I don't know that AEW is paying them. I wonder if they're being paid by one of Tony Khan or Shad Khan's other companies. Because it's kind of like when again, I don't know the ages of everybody here. I'm sure you were there when WCW was going out, but a lot of the bigger contracts, your Hulk Hogan's, your Kevin Nash, Scott Hall's, they weren't signed to WCW. They were signed to Turner Broadcasting, which is why when Vince bought WCW, those contracts couldn't come over because they weren't part of WCW. So those guys sat at home getting paid for their guaranteed contracts from Turner, and the contracts that are with WCW, your Booker T's, your, some of your other mid-card talent, Chuck Palumbo, Lance Storm, those guys showed up. Why? Because they were under contract with WCW. Those contracts Vince McMahon purchased. Could they be doing something like that with some of these, the bigger names here? Possibly. But I don't know 100% who the highest paid AEW performer is. I got to believe, it's probably CM Punk or Bryan Danielson. And I may be 100% wrong on that, but I mean, I don't see CM Punk coming back for, nickels, nickels on a dollar. I mean, he's coming back for money. Let's see. What do you think of RK Bro? I think they're great, man. I love both of them. I love Riddle. I love Orton. The funny thing is they weren't supposed to last this long, but the two have gelled so well that they don't want to pull it because they're some of their best merchandise. They're selling some of their best merchandise. And when they release if they do release the new shirts, I mean, you're looking at, my goodness, if it's going to be RK Bro 420, I just smoked your ass. If those are going to be the new shirts, do you know how much those are going to sell? And both of them can go in the ring too. That's the other thing. I do like the way they have Riddle kind of starting to emulate all of Orton's moves. So I think when they want to do the turn, I think that's going to be one of the nucleuses that they do, as they use that as, maybe Orton one day is just like, this guy's just emulating me or whatever they're going to do. But I think that would set up for a good, what is it? RKO against RK Bro. Could have a pretty good match there too. But again, it's what happens when you put two guys that can work together and understand the business side of it as well. And they've made the best of the opportunity, and they grabbed the brass ball that Vince McMahon always talks about. They grabbed it and they're running with it. Let's see. K1999 asked another question about Riddle and Orton. Do you think Riddle will be WWE champion soon? Man, I don't know what they're going to do with the WWE championship, especially now that Reigns is taking some time off. There's talk that McIntyre is going to be winning it at the Castle. If that happens, then I could probably see Cody possibly going maybe heel at some point and winning the title. And then I wouldn't mind seeing Cody against Riddle, because I think Riddle deserves maybe a run to see what he can do with it, because he's shown that he can be, entertaining. He can be a face. He gets the crowd behind him, and he's quirky enough to where you're just like, all right, this son of a bitch can go, So I won't say that he will not be WWE champion, but he won't be, I wouldn't say anytime soon. And by soon, I mean in the next 6 months. I think ultimately you're going to see him probably, because again, I think if they drop the titles, you're going to see Orton against Riddle. And I think that might be the feud to set Riddle up to elevate him to the title. But I think they're going to have some matches first to get Riddle built up to become a main event. I'm not saying he's not a main event guy now, but if he's beating Randy Orton one-on-one in that feud, that elevates him up to the championship talent because, again, Randy Orton, 17-time heavyweight champion. One of the unexpected heel turns was when WCW turned Hogan heel, so you never know. Yes, but that also, here's the thing, man. Hogan was smart enough as a business guy to realize that I need to do something different because he was coming back to wrestling full time. Cena doesn't need wrestling full time. If he's going to come back and he wants to make money off of it, his best thing is to come in as the face that he's always been, throw his hat out to the kids, have the kids run to the merchandise stand and buy his merchandise, and then he's gone for another 2 months. And then he pops back up and boom, more merchandise. Hogan reinvented himself, becoming Hollywood Hogan, because he knew people was getting tired of red and yellow, say your prayers, take your vitamins. He was starting to get the boos and the thing, just like what happened with Roman Reigns. Started getting the boos. The only person I've seen that lasted through the whole thing was Cena. But I'm sorry, Vince. But, and again, it took a lot. If you sit there and you watch Evil on WWE Network, go watch Hulk Hogan's thing. He said up until the moment, they didn't know that if Hogan was going to do it. Hogan was there. He was still going back and forth on whether he wanted to go heel. And the person they had that was going to go heel in case if Hogan didn't come out down that aisle in Daytona Beach, the person they were going to turn heel was Sting. How different would that have been if Sting was the leader of the NWO and not Hulk Hogan? Does it work the way it was? Because to me, when Hogan became the mouthpiece of the NWO is when that thing kind of took off. It kind of gave it its own life. Because you saw the goody-goody that was Hulk Hogan, say your prayers, take your vitamins, all this stuff, become that guy that you despise. I don't know that it would have worked the same with Sting. As time went on and Sting became the Crow character and all that stuff and the black and white, and then he went in the Wolfpack and things, yes. But at that point, I don't know that it would have been the same. But Hogan went through with it, and the rest is history. Do you know the average pay for AEW? I do not know, Frankie. I'm not even going to take a guess. I just know they tiered it up to where, if you had this much experience, you were here. This much experience, you're here. This much experience, you're here. And then they had like the Chris Jericho, pay. Sean, you think Cody will eventually be the U.S. champion? I think he'll bring the title where it will matter again because of the American Nightmare persona. Man, I would think that if they're going to give him a belt, they have devalued the U.S., the Intercontinental title so much, man, that Cody'd have to work double hard just to make that title relevant, man. He's going to have to make himself, you have to work so goddamn hard. You said Roman Reigns is taking time off. Explain. He's got the same deal that Brock Lesnar had, again. And when you're making the money and you're making Vince the money, you can, he's already done like 30 matches for Vince this year. And we're only 5 months in. I know it sounds like very little, but you have to remember Brock Lesnar was only signed to 8 events. Roman's already done 30. So basically the time off is going to be, he's not doing live events so that his appearances are the TV tapings and the big pay-per-views. Now, will it be on some of the littler pay-per-views? I don't know. That's still kind of being discussed depending on what creative has to do. But, again, you have you have to guarantee, Brock Lesnar was, I think it was like $3 million for 6 appearances or something like that, So you pick the 6 appearances. Is okay? You're going to do this Raw, this pay-per-view, this Raw, this pay-per-view, this Raw, this Raw, this pay-per-view. So the 6 events he's going to do. This last contract was a lot more appearances than his original ones when he first had the Universal title and things like that. But, again, dude, Roman has, again, he's recovered from leukemia. He's got a family at home. He's, he doesn't want to sit out here and do appearances for what you're not making money. If you're saying you're going to do 40 appearances and you've already done 30 and it's May, you have 10 appearances left. I'm not giving anybody I'm not giving free appearances. And I'm not putting words in Roman's mouth. I'm just saying if his appearances are 40 and he's already given them 30, then let's lower my load here. I don't need to be on every live event. Let's see. Frankie said Cody took the booze in AEW. Yeah, 100%. That's what he started becoming. Cody had AEW, so you may be right, Sean. He may turn heel. No, yeah. I mean, I think ultimately they're going to build him up right now as the baby because he's the big thing right now, right? He's their prized possession they took from AEW. AEW's always signing WWE guys. Always signing WWE guys. Well, guess what? We not only signed one of your guys, we signed one of your EVPs. One of the guys that helped start AEW came back to us because he's saying he wants our title for his legacy. Because remember, 2 months in on AEW, Cody couldn't challenge for the heavyweight title anymore. You think him and Tony Khan are rethinking that? Or Tony Khan started rethinking that as Cody's like, yeah, I'm going to be leaving? Ooh. At that time, I was like, oh, that doesn't sound like a great stipulation. Maybe you do, for 90 days, you can't challenge for the title or something, but to say you can never challenge for a heavyweight title, it seems like you're putting it on a little thick when you're talking about your EVPs because everybody thought in AEW was going to be the Cody Rhodes, Young Bucks, Kenny Omega show. So to get rid of that stigma, you get Cody he can never challenge for the heavyweight title. And then you bring in your TNT title and you make that basically the Cody Rhodes title. Let's see. True wrestlers need time off to enjoy life. I completely agree. Yeah, especially man. Look, a lot of these guys, Roman did his time, man. Roman with the Shield, and he traveled. He did the 300 days on the year, man. He's elevated himself up to the prestige that he is now with the bloodline to where, man, he doesn't need to be on the road, man. Will he probably do some appearances on the road? Yes, but those are going to be the ones where it's going to be like a pop-up. Remember, he lives, I think it's on the Panhandle. Somewhere on the Panhandle, I believe. Pensacola. I'm not even sure. Is that on the Panhandle? Pensacola? I don't even know where that's at, but I believe he lives in Pensacola. So, again, you might see him do a show up around that area where he can just like, hey, I'm going to drive to the show. I'm going to see the boys, the girls, and say hello and then do that show. I'm not saying he's not going to ever do another house show, but he's not going to be going to, Los Angeles, California for a house show. For TV, yes. For a house show, no. Oh, Boss B, thanks, my man. Let's see. I didn't know NXT was in Orlando. Also looking at WWE tickets, they have quite a few shows all over Florida. Yeah. No. NXT is in Orlando. It's based at Full Sail University. They actually built the PC on Full Sail, which is why they get all the cameras and everything else like that. They have it worked out pretty damn good. That PC Performance Center, pretty damn state of the art, man. It is a great place to go and train. They do have tours of it, so if you ever want to do that, I would look into it. Again, you can set up, I believe. I know they do media tours every once in a while. I believe they also open it up to the public every once in a while. I recommend you go and take a look at that, man, because they have some state-of-the-art stuff there. Do you think Cody leaving hurt AEW ratings? No, they're already hurting as Cody was there. I mean, I think it hurt a little bit, but they were already, starting to. Again, when the line's kind of going, I don't know. It looks like my line, I'm dropping like quickly. It's going very slowly, but it's dropping. Like they were at 1.2, then it went to 1.1, then it was at a million, then it's been at 970, then it jumped up to 980, then it went to 940, then it jumped back up to 960, then they hovered around 950, 940 for about 6 or 7 weeks. And then last week it was like 8 something. So slowly, you know, again, it's one of those things, man. I think, look, they do great for selling their product to their fans. But if you're a casual fan, I don't think you can, it doesn't resonate. Let's see. It seems Cody was treated as a jag. Will there ever be Rock versus Roman for title Roman currently holds? You know, man, the more I think about it, the more I want to say no. And the only reason I say this is that there's so much that The Rock is doing, man. And if Roman's taking time off, who's building it? And I get it. If you just throw Rock and Roman out there in 30 days, they could probably build up a pretty good damn, story for the match. Don't get me wrong there. But when nobody's on TV, who is Michael Cole building it up? Are they always just throwing out, that whole thing there? So I don't know, because again, remember around this time, around WrestleMania time, March next year, 2023, March and April, what's starting? The XFL, The Rock's new football league, right? The league he purchased from Vince McMahon. That starts right around WrestleMania time. He's filming movies, all that time. I think that match has to be at a WrestleMania. Do you do it at a SummerSlam? Do you do it at a, I think that's a WrestleMania match, man. I think back, that match there could have the same thing that Hogan Rock had when those two were standing in Toronto in the Sky Dome. And they looked at each other, and then one glanced to the right and one glanced to the left, and half the crowd's chanting Rocky. The other part is chanting for Hogan. You could see that. You could see that happening with them. So I think that has to be a WrestleMania moment. And with everything that's going on with The Rock's career and everything else, and with, again, Roman, yes, he's taking some time off to be a fan, but again, he does have some movie stuff I've heard that's going to be picking up. There's some stuff picking up for him. So ultimately, does he go, when does his, and you look back at what John Cena said, he said he was a little bit immature when, he kind of was going after The Rock for his stuff about Hollywood because he didn't understand the way Hollywood worked. He didn't understand that you have to shoot on these certain days because all these people are paid and hired to be there on those days. So if you don't show up, they don't get paid. And you're facilitating their careers, their work, their families eating. It's not even like, hey, hold on, guys. I got Raw tonight. I'll be back here Tuesday, okay? Pencil me in for Tuesday. We can't do nothing Monday. And also when you're shooting movies, you also have to worry about, again, depending what type of movie it is, moonlight. There's certain movies where there's certain days they can shoot because it's a full moon. And they need a full moon in the thing. Can you generate that in the studio? Of course. But sometimes people want that actuality, that realism. They want to shoot that scene as realistic as it can be. So you can only shoot at this time, and everything has to be set up for, the perfect shot. So I the more I think about it, the more I'm going to say, I don't think it happens. Because honestly, I think if it doesn't happen this year, maybe the year after, maybe. But after that, I don't know that I want to see it anymore. I want to watch, Roman Reigns in his prime and The Rock, that can still go. Let's see. Frankie Fresco says, I hope AEW does not fold. They have some really bright wrestlers, and it's always good to have another big wrestling company other than WWE. No, I don't think they're going to fold, man. I mean, again, they have issues, just like WWE has issues. But the one thing I believe that Tony Khan is smart enough as a businessman to where it's not going to bleed out. They're not going to do the WCW route. I don't think, man. I see tendencies of some of the mistakes they made, but again, I don't know what the deals are that they sign these guys to. Maybe they sign them to a per appearance. They get so much for per appearance or whatever. Because again, remember, right now AEW is only doing Dynamite and Rampage, basically. And then they do the Dark and Elevation at Universal Studios now, where Impact used to be, or maybe still be one of the sound stages back there. They're recording their shows there. So again, not a lot going on there. Bossy, yes, did I go to show in Boca? No, I saw a lot of the stuff on social media. All right, guys, appreciate you all, man. It's getting late. Don't forget the Big O show, radio show will kick off 10 a.m. We'll be at Hialeah Park tomorrow, KSDT CPA on Friday, Caneswear on Saturday. So we got a lot of remotes coming up. I'll be back here Friday night, 10:05. We'll look at SmackDown, see if there's any new Sasha Banks, Naomi talk going on there. And by the way, the Golden State Warriors just kind of ran Dallas out. That game just ended. And last I saw, Calgary was up 3-0 on Edmonton. Not sure if that's changed a lot. I haven't really watched it since the first period, but I appreciate you all. And in the words of the great Gordon Solie, so long from the sun, shine, state.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield Home Security System guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.